Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, and I know a lot of you are, my name is Hannah and I make fashion related videos, lifestyle, beauty, you name it, sneakers, I don't know. I just make whatever I want, to be honest. So I have a few things that I want to say. First of all, thank you so much for over 2,000 subscribers. It's crazy, I don't even have that many friends, but now I do. And second of all, thank you guys for giving so much love to my fashion student vlog series. I'm also very sad that it has come to an end, but you know, I'm graduated now, so there's no more content to make for that series. So I asked you guys to give me any questions about studying fashion design or any questions for me. Yeah, I'm just going to be answering all of those today. I organized the questions a bit because some of them overlapped with each other. So the number one question that I received was, what college/uni did I go to? I went to a uni called QUT, so Queensland University of Technology. It is not a fashion school, it's just a regular uni, but it had a Bachelor of Design like fashion course, and I did the 4-year honors course. Yes. The second question is, how did you decide which school to go to? I'll give you a little story. I originally applied to RMIT, so that is a uni based in Melbourne. I did get an offer from one of the courses that I applied to there, but at the time I felt that it was unrealistic for me to move out on my own without knowing anyone in a new city. Also, I couldn't afford that. So I actually did business first at a different uni because that was my second option that I had on the list. So I did business for a semester and yeah, it wasn't for me. Funny story, I actually forgot to go to one of my, not forgot, I wrote down the wrong date for one of my exams and I didn't turn up for it, so I failed the course. So I decided after that whole experience, just in general, not because I didn't go to an exam, just business wasn't for me, I felt. So yeah, I decided to move and I was trying to look for a uni that I can attend here where I live, somewhere I can afford. So that's how I came across QT. I think I already answered this question, but the third question was, how long did it take to complete your degree? So the honors course is a 4-year degree. So the fourth question, what are the different classes you have and what do you learn there? It's going to be a little bit difficult to break down every single class I've had, but let me just say we had core subjects that we had to complete, and then we also had studio subjects. So studio is where we mainly did our sewing, learning how to pattern make, and I guess theory like fashion history. We also did, you know, design journal like bookwork, Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, all that stuff. And then in the core subjects, it was basically teaching you, I guess, the foundation of design and like how to be a good designer, but I would say that it was more so tailored toward architecture students, interior design students, and graphic design students. My course was constantly developing while I was studying it, so I don't think that they had core subjects that were very specific to fashion design. So to be honest, I didn't really find it that helpful. It was just more of a box that I had to tick to move on. I think the purpose behind the studio classes is to really push your creative thinking, and yes, they do teach you pattern making, sewing and things like that, but not as in depth as you would think. So this also leads to the next question. Is the course hard if you're a complete beginner? Do I need pre-existing skills to apply? I don't think it's hard, like it's definitely doable for a complete beginner. I went into it knowing nothing about sewing or pattern making, so I would say it just took me longer to understand things, and I'd have to get a lot more help from my friends who were more knowledgeable in sewing. I think it's fine for a beginner, but you might just find yourself struggling a little bit with new concepts because pattern making was a whole new thing for me. I wish I did some kind of pre-diploma course in sewing beforehand, because then I believe that I could have done even better, but I still managed. I still graduated. I came out with a collection, maybe that not as extravagant as others, but from where I started and where I got to the end, like there was a huge growth. Question number 6. I feel like I'm answering all the questions before I actually get to the question, but anyway, how did you start learning how to sew and how long have you been sewing for? I'll get into it with a little bit more detail. So I actually started sewing my first experience with sewing was in middle school, like grade 9, when I was in home ec, which is home economics. It's like a learning how to cook, learning how to sew, and then guys learn how to do a barbecue. I'm not really sure. Anyway, but yeah, we made a pencil case, and that was my first experience with sewing, and I remember I broke the sewing machine. So honestly, we weren't off to a great start, but yeah, that was my only actual sewing experience before I went to the course. So I've been sewing for 4 years. because that has been the duration of the course. Question number 7. What do you find harder, sewing or drawing? You know what? I know this is not in the question, but you know what I find hardest? Pattern making. But to answer this question, I find maybe sewing, because I came from a visual art background, so I guess drawing I'm better at it. But then again, I felt like I wasn't as good in drawing figures and clothing. I was more so on the still life side of visual art, so I think drawing, if we're talking about like clothes, I think drawing was harder. I prefer sewing. Next. How long does it usually take to finish one piece / garment? This really depends on the garment. I am actually going to make a separate video talking about my whole collection and every single piece, because I had a lot of fun things that happened with each garment. Anyway, let's say from design to the finished product. Honestly, a jacket, maybe like 3 weeks when I'm fast. I'm basing this off of my collection, but again, my collection I did do more intricate work with seam lines and patterns. The fastest garment I've sewn is in one night from design to finish, because I remember we had a very hectic semester where I just signed myself up for more than I could handle, and I was sewing every day, okay? Like this is not because I was being lazy, but it just came to a point where I was still 2 garments short for my assessment, and this was due the next day. So I remember all-nighting in studio with the other girls, and I don't know how I did it. I don't even remember. I was under so much pressure. This was probably around like 1 AM, and I was like, oh my gosh, I still have 1 more garment to make, and this is due tomorrow, and I don't even have a garment designed. I just had the fabric, and I wish I had it with me. Maybe I should bring it. Anyway, if I have a picture, I'll pop it there, but it's actually a horrible garment. I only made it to hit the criteria, guys. So I designed it right there on the spot. Gathering was my theme, I guess. I literally made a very rough pattern, probably just copied off a block and then chucked like a gathering detail in one side of the skirt, and I threw it together without any toiles or samples. I just threw it together and made it work somehow. So that was the fastest I have ever made a garment from design to finish. Next question. As a fashion graduate, how will you find a job? I actually have been getting a lot of this question from my friends and acquaintances. You know what? I'm still in the process of trying to find a job, but when I graduated, I created a portfolio of all my previous work. That took quite a bit, like maybe a month to perfect it. And then along with your usual cover letter and resume, I just attach a portfolio and have been applying to jobs, have only gotten 1 interview, and all the other jobs have not gotten back to me, and I think it's because I don't have enough experience. So I advise you guys to do internships when you can. This is probably going to be the process for me. If I don't find a job anytime soon, I need to be applying for internships and work for people for free so that I can get experience, and then once I have that experience, I'm sure the jobs that I apply to will take a look at my resume before they throw it in the bin, you know? No shade, but that's probably just the truth. Experience is just more important than qualification or anything else. What led you to view fashion as a career choice? I went into fashion being like, oh, I love clothes, that's why I'm gonna do it. I don't know if that was the best reason because sometimes I'm like, would I have enjoyed this more if I kept it as a hobby? To be honest, I'm not sure if I see myself as a designer. I was leaning toward doing some more styling. I've just always been interested in clothing and fashion, and that is why I've just always seen it as a career choice. I was like, if I don't do this, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's basically how I thought of it. And that was probably when I was around 13 that I made that decision that I was gonna pursue some career in fashion. The 11th question is, were your parents supportive of you studying fashion design? Yes, they were very supportive. My parents are always about what is best for me and what makes me happy, and when I told them I wanted to do it, they were like, yeah, go for it. It was honestly me who was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I should just do a regular 9-to-5 job. You know, fashion design is money. It's a lot of money, guys. But no, my parents were very encouraging because they were saying if I do a job that I hate, then I'm not going to last long there anyway. So you might as well do what you enjoy, because you're going to try your best to succeed down that road, whatever it may be. I am so grateful for having my parents, because they helped me so much. I don't think I would have been able to graduate if I did not have their support. So I love you, mum and dad. Thank you. So I was on question 12. Question 12. Does the uni cover any costs such as fabrics, models and photographers? And the answer is no. I don't know what it is like for other fashion colleges or other unis, but everything came out of my own pocket. I was paying for all the fabrics, thread, tools. I have probably wasted so much money as well just by buying fabrics that I wasn't going to end up using, and that happened quite a few times with my assessments. Sometimes things go wrong and so you have to buy more fabric because you screwed something up and you have to do it again, or there's just a change of concept or change of design and you have to buy more fabric. I think I was spending at least $300 for every assessment. It depends on what the assessment was, but I felt like I spent around $300 for every assessment, and we have a lot of assessments every semester. And for my grad photo shoot for my final collection, I paid the models, but I was lucky enough that the photographer and the hair and makeup artist was willing to collaborate with me. So yeah, I am very, very grateful because I wouldn't have been able to afford a shoot if that didn't happen. What is the fashion industry like in Australia? Is it easy to find good opportunities and grow as a designer? I don't have the greatest knowledge on this because I am not in the fashion industry yet, but from my observation, I think it's a lot more low-key than per se America, Asia, Europe. There are opportunities, but I don't think it's as much as the other fashion cities in the world. So it is very competitive, and this is why experience matters, because people are going to hire people who have more experience than those who don't. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on this question, just because I'm still on my own journey, so I wish I could give you a better answer. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. Are you planning on doing personal projects or starting a collection? So at this point in time, I am prioritizing getting a job, just because I want to learn the business side, just everything that happens behind in a fashion company. I want to learn that before I go off and make my own brand. I might do some personal projects on the side, but guys, I haven't touched my sewing machine since I graduated, so it's probably been like 6 months. I think after I finished my grad collection, I was over it. I was like, I'm not looking at my sewing machine or fabrics or patterns for a while. Like, I'm taking time off that. I was really burnt out after my degree. But you know, for YouTube, I might try and pick up the sewing again, the pattern making again, like little projects, attempting to make things here and there. For now, that's all I have planned. That marks the end of the Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and the answers were helpful. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask, or we can make another video, or I'll reply to your comments because I love replying to comments. And please give me a like and subscribe, that'd be super helpful, and follow my Instagram if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing. You'll see all my outfits and things like that on there first. Anyway, I'll see you guys in my next video.